welcome back to Miss Craig's Classroom. Thank you for joining our reading lesson today on summarising. Our learning goal is I'm learning to summarise, and our success criteria is I will be successful when I can summarise the main events from a fiction text. Today we will be focusing on summarising, which, like my previous episode on predicting, is one of those reading comprehension skills. To understand what summarising is, we first have to understand what summarising is not. Now, summarising is not a retell. We do not want to know all the little details that happened throughout the text. We really want to know what the characters were doing at the beginning, what happened, what was the problem, and how was the problem solved. Now, I have done a lesson on problem and solutions in fiction text. I'll link the episode above. That would be pretty handy to go and check out before you end up doing this lesson on summarising. So really, summarising is where we tell our audience those main key events that happened in the text. Now, when I teach summarising at school, I like to teach something called the Fivefinger summary. What's that? Let's have a look. Alright, this is our five-finger summary. Now, our five-finger summary starts with the word somebody. Wanted, but, so, then. So let's break this up into a little bit more detail. Somebody. Who is the story about? Who was the main character or the main characters in the text? Then that has to link to wanted. What did that character or those characters want? And as we talked about in our problem and solution lesson, normally there's a bit of a but. There's a problem that happens that the characters have to solve by the end of the text. So in the but finger, we have to say, what was the problem? So what did they do to solve the problem? Then what happened at the end? How was the problem resolved and how did the story finish? So do it with me. Somebody wanted, but, so, then. One more time. Somebody wanted, but, so, then. And that's our five-finger summary. I'm going to demonstrate this skill with one of my favourite texts, Pumpkin Soup by Helen Cooper. The video link will be above now, so go and watch that if you aren't familiar with the text. Now, in Pumpkin Soup, the who is duck. Duck wanted. What did duck want? Duck wanted to stir the soup. But what was the problem? Well, duck wanted to stir the soup, but cat and squirrel wouldn't let him. So, what did duck do? Duck ran away and cat and squirrel were sad. Then, what happened in the end? Duck came home, cat and squirrel let him stir the soup, and it was still the best you ever tasted. So, duck wanted to stir the soup, but cat and squirrel wouldn't let him, so duck ran away, which made cat and squirrel sad. Then, duck came home, and cat and squirrel let him stir the soup. Alright, what we're going to do now is you are going to, at home, use your five-finger summary to summarise The Very Brave Bear by Nick Bland. We have discussed this text a lot over our lessons, but if you haven't read it already, I want you to go and read that one now, and then come back. Alright, let's have a look at our text, The Very Brave Bear by Nick Bland. Now, do we need more than one person for our summary? I think so too. It should be about Bear and Buffalo. So what did Bear and Buffalo want? Well, Bear and Buffalo wanted to prove that they were brave. But what happened? Yes, Bear and Buffalo reached a cave and heard a scary noise. So, what did they do? So they ran away and hid. Then, they found out it was just a frog. So let's put it all together now. Bear and Buffalo wanted to prove that they were brave, but they heard a scary noise come from a cave. So they ran away. Then it turned out it was just a frog. Well done! You did a five-finger summary. Somebody wanted, but, so, then. This five-finger summary really helps us only discuss those key events. We got rid of all the extra details like Bear and Buffalo, swinging through the trees or crossing the raging river. We only heard those main bits that made the story what it is. Now, our five-finger summaries didn't have to be exactly the same, but I hope that we were on the same track. Now let's move on to some activities that you can do at home to practice your summarising. Now, the first activity that I would like to suggest is creating your own hand poster. Doesn't matter if you are in grade prep or grade 6, I think creating this poster that you can refer to is really helpful. After completing your hand poster, in terms of actually completing summaries of text, those younger students, I would really discuss those keywords, somebody wanted, but, so, then. get them to try and summarize that information first, maybe just somebody, but, and then. So that beginning, problem, solution. I would just have them verbally tell you their summary and then creating those pictures that correspond with each of those words. If they would like to be extended, I would get them to do those 5 pictures. So somebody, what did they want? But what happened? So what did they do? And then how was the story solved? So that's actually 5 pictures instead of your normal 3, your beginning, middle, end, or beginning, problem, solution. I also have a few worksheets that I have used over the last couple of years. I'll put them on the screen now. They're nothing fancy, pretty simple, so you could definitely recreate these sorts of things at home. You could also create what we referred to in our problem solution episode as a flipperama, where you create the tabs and under each one draw or write what happened. So tab 1 would be somebody, wanted, but, so, then. For those older students, instead of completing the worksheets that I use with my grade 2-3 students, I would probably be getting them to write their summaries in full sentences, not in dot points or in separate boxes, getting them to start writing really well-formed sentences that will then begin to go into a paragraph. This will make it flow just a little bit better than just the dot points or just the boxes, so all together it'll be fabulous. Alright guys, that is the end of our summarising lesson. I hope you've learned something and I hope you remember the names of our 5 fingers. Were you successful today? Could you summarise your fiction text? Thank you again so much for joining me. I really hope these episodes are reaching some people out there. That's all I'm trying to do with these lessons. I probably make a heap of mistakes, but we're all just doing our best with what we can work with at the moment. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell button so you are notified every time I upload. Have a lovely day and I'll see you next time. Bye!